If you'd like to get some work using Houdini, then you'll want to understand the pathways to success. How does somebody start with no skills and get to the point where they have a job? In this video, I want to illustrate exactly that path, and specifically what it looks like for somebody who's going to college versus somebody who's not going to college. On the left, we have university. On the right, we have self-starter, which are people who are not going to universities, and both of them end up getting a job. What does the path look like for both of these people? Let's start with university. Obviously, you need to take classes. So that includes gen eds, that includes your major classes. You need to go through all the paperwork to enroll, to apply, to get scholarships, to get grants, all of that kind of stuff that typically goes with being a university student. So you need to pass, you need to get good grades, well enough to pass. And right here, this is where about 35% roughly of students don't make it. So only about 65% of students who start college will finish college within 6 years. That being the case, those who do take their classes, those who do just go through the motions and try to get good grades are not going to have enough to get a job at the end of the day. That's just step one. Getting by and surviving in the university system is just the first step in this journey. The next step here is to establish positive relationships with both your teachers and your fellow students. One of the main reasons why you want to go to college in the first place is to build your professional network. Your professors are going to be the people that try to go out in the industry, speak with recruiters, and promote their best students. And your fellow classmates are going to go off to ideally work at some of these studios and be great contacts down the road when it comes to opening up future opportunities. One of the biggest reasons why you should go with university in the first place is for the networking that you get from being in university. So that means keeping to yourself or sparking up drama doesn't do you any good. It kind of defeats the purpose as to why you are there. That being said, not everyone establishes positive relationships. If you can't contain yourself when it comes to starting drama, or if you're just too shy and you're not getting out there and you're not trying to make these positive relationships happen, then you're already at a major disadvantage. But good relationships won't be enough to get a job either. You need to also have great work. And by great work, I mean you need to be at the top 10% of your class. Maybe you can get away with the top 20% of your class if you're going to one of the best universities for 3D graphics in the world. But for your average university or high ed institution, if you're not part of the top 10%, you're probably not going to get recommended by your professors to other recruiters. And most likely you'll have to do a lot of work after you graduate in order to get your skills to that professional level. The cutoff is pretty intense. So again, if you're not part of the top 10%, then you really don't have much of a chance. And even if you are part of that top 10%, you're still only halfway there to getting a job. It's not enough to just listen to the curriculum as it is. The problem is that your teachers need to create a curriculum for the broad audience, which is your entire class. And if you're at the top 10%, that doesn't mean a curriculum that's right for you. Most of the time, your teachers have to deal with the majority of the class rather than the minority who's at the top. And so for that exact reason, you need to go beyond the curriculum yourself. You need to have summer studies going on. If you don't have a summer project, you should. You need to have personal projects on the side, ideally while you're doing university projects as well. You need to collaborate with others. You need to find a mentor. You need to watch courses, and you need to attend workshops. Anything you can do to take your studies and get as good as possible is necessary in order for you to get to a professional level. And then lastly, you need to also expand your network outside of the university. So That means attending as many industry events as possible. Can you meet people, get their emails, get their contact? Can you reach out to people on LinkedIn, get active in social media? What can you do to get yourself out there into the world? And if you find any idea or opportunity to do that, you should do it. And then once your network is beginning to develop, you want to follow up with people in the industry. Give them updates on your demo reel. Let them know when something has improved, or if you're looking for internships coming up, I would say maybe try to contact them once a month, letting them know what you're up to so that you stay in the mind when the internship position pops up or when a junior position pops up some point in the future. Now, even though I put that towards the end of the pathway, you should start networking as soon as possible. If you're a freshman, a sophomore, junior, senior, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is it takes a while to expand your network. And even if you don't have a demo reel, you'll want to start figuring out who you can talk to, who you can keep updated with your progress, because you never know where these things might go down the road. You also don't want to be a freeloader on your professor. What I mean by that is don't just let the professor do all the talking for you, or the recruiter, or whoever's talking on your behalf. That's a mistake as well that people make, especially if you're going to one of the nicer schools where you have somebody maybe dedicated to shopping you out to all the different studios. What you need to do is take control of the situation. Take responsibility. Because even if a recommendation gets you a junior or an internship role at some point, that doesn't mean that you're going to have consistent employment after that gig is done. You might have a period of time where there's no work going on. And if that happens, you'll be back to square one trying to network for yourself, as opposed to networking for yourself this entire time and having more people to follow up with if you find that you're lacking work. So again, it just goes to say that this is something that you need to do yourself. And if other people network on your behalf, it's just a nice thing to add on top. In the future, I want to make a separate video that's just about the pros and cons of college and whether or not it's right for you. But for right now, here's what I'll say just as a general overview. College is expensive. You're likely to run into debt. That's a bad combination when you have to get jobs that are mostly in the most expensive cities in the world, like LA, San Francisco, Vancouver, and so on. So just keep the cost in mind. Now, yes, it does provide you a nice arena for networking and for socializing with people and for trying to make these connections in the industry. That's great. The problem is that university also takes up a bunch of your time in areas that are inefficient, in areas that won't do you any good if you try networking with these people. So if you're stuck doing gen eds half the time, if you're stuck doing assignments for a project, for like a curriculum that has nothing to do with the demo reel that you're trying to make, then those sorts of things can hold you back even if you're great at networking. So in my personal opinion, if you're somebody who's really serious about this and you want to just take the path of least resistance to get to your goals as quickly as possible in the most efficient way, I don't think university is for you. I think you should be more of a self-starter and just do what it takes to get from A to Z without all the fluff in between. Which naturally brings us to our self-starters. The self-starter has things way more simple. They need to get good, so that's doing personal projects, doing workshops. Ideally, a mentorship would be awesome for this path because that'll give you the one-on-one professional feedback to guide you in the right direction, to help you sort through the clutter of what's out there. And arguably, the education you get through a mentorship is better than university because it's custom tailored to what you're trying to do. Remember, back at university, they have to make a curriculum for the group, not necessarily for you. So that's awesome. And then if you need to work a side job, you make a little bit of money, study when you're not doing that side job, and expand your network like you would if you were going to university anyway. You take the combination of all that, and you can end up in the same exact place as somebody who went to university. It just takes a little bit of hustle. It takes a little bit of self-motivation to keep yourself consistent. And again, if you find a mentor or you go through workshops, that can also help you stay accountable to yourself. But the pathway can lead to the same exact place. And once you have that job, it doesn't really matter as much that you went to university or that you have a degree. Most studios don't care. They care more about your job experience, how many years you have, and the conversation they may have with your boss or your supervisor on how you work. So as long as you get that first job, you're going to be in pretty much the same exact place as somebody who spent 4 years doing the same thing in university. So, with that all being said, what really matters here? What matters is that you get good, which again is going beyond the curriculum because university is not going to give you everything you need knowledge-wise or skill-wise to be competent at Houdini. And you need to expand your network. So really, either way you go, you're going to be doing the same thing. And guess what? That's exactly what I do at CG Forge. The courses just get straight to the point. Here's knowledge you need to know. Here's how you build your skills. And you pair that with the mentorships for specific guidance that also helps you network in the industry as I try to bridge your work with what recruiters are looking for. And that's why CG Forge is awesome. It gives you what you need without all the unnecessary bells and whistles, while at the same time clearing a path for you so that you can get real opportunity at an affordable price. This also brings us to the end of this intro series. Most likely you're watching this either on YouTube or you're watching this because you just registered for CG Forge. And I want to thank you for following me along this whole journey about the industry, about Houdini, the pros and cons, the opportunities that are out there. There's a lot of things you have to figure out. And hopefully this has cleared up some of those things for you. Also, don't be shy. You can always hit me up at tyler@cgforge.com, and I'll be happy to help you out as best as I can along the way. Good luck with your studies. I hope that everything goes well, and have a great day.